and welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to continue with this image by Sheryll LaFond, which you can find on her Etsy, and I'll leave a link for that in the description. And we are going to be using pencils today, and I'm using Prismacolor pencils, so I'm just going to dive straight in. As you can see from the last video, now that the marker pens have dried, they have dried a lot paler than what they first laid down. So I have used the pencils that I've chosen and on the image, just to make sure that they were the colours that I wanted. So there are a few spots like here and here and in other places where you might be able to notice that I've already done something with them. But I'm just going to go in straight away with pink, and that is PC 929. There we go, 929. And I'm literally just doing a bit of a hard pressure at the base of each petal and then bringing it out lighter as you get towards the edge of the petal. You want to fade it out as much as possible so that you barely see where the marker is to where the pencil is. You might hear some clicking in the background, and that's just Ian playing World of Warcraft. And you may also hear the fan going as well in the background. And occasionally you may hear Frank grumbling, snoring, or even barking, because he's right beside me on the floor. So on this petal here, a lot of it will be darker because you have these flowers coming over the top. You don't have to make it like that, you can just keep it where it's dark here and fading it out like you've done on these ones. Again, because we've done the marker base, you don't really need many layers on doing the pencil, because you already have the colour underneath. You may very well also hear either the kittens crying or scratching about in their cage, because they've just been playing out. And for anybody wondering why we keep them in a cage, that is because we have an older cat in the house, and she still isn't too keen on there being two kittens running around, and obviously they're not big enough to defend themselves. So when we are busy, they stay in their cage, and 9 times out of 10 they just play with their toys, or they're just sleeping. They still sleep a lot. So that's why they are in there. We're not cruel to them. We don't leave them locked up all day. The only thing you really need to know and remember for doing this is that just light pressure when you come to fade it out. A very light pressure. And even when you're doing the darker bits at the bottom here, you don't really need much pressure to get the colour to show much. You're just going to saturate the page if you press too hard, and then you won't be able to put any other layers on top if you need them. You can always do a layer, and if you think after doing all of the petals it looks a bit different, then you can always come back and add another layer on top of that to give it a bit more depth. So it's quite sunny today in England. It was terrible weather over the weekend. It was cold and windy. We had rain, we had snow. And it's really hot and sunny today instead. There we go. So that's that one. And then I'm going to use hot pink next, and that is PC993, and I'm going to use that on these ones over here. And again, just from the base leading out, hard to light pressure. Very small ones, these ones. And then I'm going to use the same one on these ones over here. So this isn't in a book yet. This is just a single PDF page, like I said earlier, from her Etsy store. She does have other books out at the moment, which also have lovely artwork in. And Sheryl's a lovely lady. Very kind. Of course, that's that one done. And I didn't put a base down there because I didn't realise that it was part of the flower, but that's alright because a lot of that's going to be in dark anyways because it's underneath everything. And I didn't put bases down on the centres of the flowers simply because I forgot, but again, that's alright. We will just use the pencils on their own. And again, this bit here is just all going to be dark because it's underneath. We'll come in at the end with a Posca pen and add any details that we might be able to in white. Very, very simple picture. Just using one colour and blending it out. Nothing too hard or complicated for this picture. So on my Facebook page, I now have some admin. So if you ever need any help with anything, you can ask them. And they are the lovely Louise Scoffin and Sammy from Colour and Chat with Sammy, which I'm sure would be more than happy to help if you had any questions about anything. And feel free to post what you're working on, what you've coloured on the page. There are some albums up, but not for everybody. I haven't done everybody's yet. I'm getting round to it. Right, so for these darker pink ones, I've chosen Process Red because it doesn't actually come out as a red, it's more of a dark pink. And that is in PC994. For those that don't know, I've also got an Instagram page, which is Honour Your Crafts 19, and that not only contains my colourings, but you will also find pictures of Frank, my pug, and as of late there are pictures of the kittens on there. And you will find my mum and my granddad's dogs on there, and also my other cat. They will all be on there. And now and again you will also see pictures I've taken if I've gone on a day out with my family, or if I've been on holiday. So it is a bit of a colouring, crafting and personal page. but I would never post anything up on that page that obviously I wouldn't want other people to see, so it's all good. So I'm going to start on these purple flowers here, and I have chosen grade lavender for these ones, and that is in PC1026. And like we've done with the pink flowers, I'm just going to start at the base of each flower with a harder pressure and fade out, and wherever there is a petal going over one of the other ones, I will just add a shadow down there and fade that out. Same with this flower, this petal, sorry, the petal bends over at the edge, so I will do a shadow leading from that one to that one. So to begin with, there will not be much of a highlight there. This is a very subtle colour I've chosen for this flower, as there isn't much difference between this colour and the colour that I used for the base in the markers. But I think it works out really well because it blends out very well, to the point where you would think I'd used another coloured pencil to blend it out into. This one's going over, so I'll use that as a point for a shadow to come down. So did everybody enjoy their St. Patrick's Day? Did you do anything, cook anything special? Colour anything specifically for it? And have you got anything planned for Easter? Because Easter's coming up, Mother's Day is coming up. Mother's Day is a bit later this year compared to last year, and for people in America and obviously in other parts of the world, they don't have Mother's Day until May, I think it is, which is slightly better, I think, because obviously for us in the UK we have Mother's Day on the 31st this year, and then not that long after, in April, we have Easter. And I quite like things to be spaced out rather than all clumped together. Means that I have more time to prepare things and organise things and sort things out. So again, we have a bit of the petal turned over, so I'll just add those shadows together. I think I've just coloured in, let me just grab my eraser, I've just coloured in one of the stems. Rub that out. Obviously that should be green. There's the petal on this side of it. So all of these bits I'm going to do dark because we have these flowers in front. So basically this whole petal is in shadow, so it's going to be darker. And I did have something I was going to share with everyone that I just found out. But you know when you have one of those days where you have everything all planned in your head, what you're going to say, and then when it comes to the crunch, you've forgotten everything. It's literally just what's happened. Don't remember at all. It's something to do with colouring. So if I remember, or if I see anything posted up about it, then I'll obviously mention it in my next video, or I'll post it up on my Facebook page as soon as I remember. But yeah, I just for the life of us can't remember what it was I was going to tell you all. A lot of you may already know about it if it's colouring related. Right, so that's those ones done. So for my next ones, which are going to be the ones that all look like little buds, which are these ones here, the really small ones, I'm going to be using Lavender, and that is in PC 934. And again, just from the base upwards, harder to lighter pressure. For some of these, because they are so small, it may be difficult to get or see the difference, so it might just be better if you either left them as the base colour, which was the markers, or you just colour them over with the pencil. It depends on what colour you prefer to have for them. I'm going to attempt to have the variation of colour on them all, even if it means that it's very small. Again, this is a colour that is very, very similar to the one that was used in the marker, so there won't be much difference in colour. It will just be barely visible, which sometimes makes it a lot easier. These look like little pumpkins on stems. Don't know if it's just me, but that's what I think they look like. Rather cute. This one I'm just going to colour all in because it's mostly underneath that flower. Let's not forget this one this time. Again, that one's right underneath, so I'm just going to colour the whole thing in. And then we just have these little ones here. Right, I think that's all of those ones done. Next, I am coming in with Lilac, and that is in PC956. And I'm going to use this for these ones here. Again, same method. I will on my next picture or colour along or colour and chat or whatever I decide to do. I will just do a picture where I just use pencils on the picture. I won't use markers as a base, because obviously there are some books for definite that you wouldn't use alcohol markers in because they would go through to the next page, and those pages would have illustrations on and would get ruined. But of course there are books that have single-sided images, like the Jade Summer books or some Creative Haven books, where you can use alcohol markers or mixed media in. For instance, in my Jade Summer books, I do like to use some of my mediums that I obviously wouldn't use a lot. I've used my watercolours in them and acrylic paints. And markers. But there are books like the Romantic Country books. They are double-sided images, and for the cost of the book I wouldn't use alcohol markers in them, because obviously you would be ruining one of the pictures. But I have used acrylic paint in my Romantic Country book, and that was fine. It just made the page a little bit crinkly. So I would imagine using watercolours would have the same effect. It would just leave it a bit crinkly. That's just because of the moisture from the water with the watercolours, and obviously acrylic's water based, so that would just be the same. So that's another petal that's basically covered all the way over, so that's one just in shadow, and the same with this one. And then for these ones here and here, I have chosen Parma Violet, and that is 1008. And for these ones I'm going to go up the middle and around the base harder, and then fade it out from both. This one is underneath a petal, so that one will be dark from there as well. And this is a lot darker in shade of a purple, so you will see a significant difference between this and the markers. But it's just the same principle. You start off with a slightly heavier hand and then release the pressure as you fade out. No different to doing the other ones. Don't worry about the center of the flowers at the moment, because we can come back in with a Posca pen later on. If you don't want to use a Posca pen later on, obviously you can just go around, colour around them instead. But I'm going to come back and put the detail in with the pen. So I'm going to finish up these flowers up here, and then I'm going to leave it at that for this video. And in my next video we will come back and colour in the leaves. Again, that will be in Prismacolors. I'm using Prismacolors for this whole picture, just because one, my go-to pencil for nearly everything, and I feel really comfortable just using those. That one will again be a full dark petal, and the same with this one. And this one will be mostly dark. I'll quickly do the centers of these ones that we've done. For those, I am using Goldenrod, and that is PC1034, and Deco Yellow in PC1011. And for these ones, I'm doing the same as what I've done. I'm starting off at the center and making my way out in the Goldenrod. And then I will blend out with the Deco Yellow on the edges. And that stops the centers from being the orangey colour and makes them more sunny kind of colour. And again, the same for this one. Start in the centre with your Goldenrod, and then use your Deco Yellow for the tips of each section. And then on this one and this one and this one, which you will just get a bit of a halo of the Goldenrod around that bud, I'm just going to start in the centre with a bit of a pressure and in circles fade outwards towards the edge. And the same again on this one, start in the centre and fade out, and then just come in with your Deco Yellow and just go around the edge, fading it into the middle of the Goldenrod. There we go. So yes, I will leave it at that for now, and we'll come back in our next video to colour in the leaves, and we'll see how we get on with the leaves. We may do the gems on the ring. So I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.